بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني. My dear brothers and sisters, I salute you all with the salutation of the people of paradise. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and welcome to this session, which is about a life of balance or the wheel of life. And this is an important topic in our lives, and it touches so many aspects, and it is not unique to Muslims only, but it is for everybody, because this is something that we need on a regular basis. So today's talk is going to be uh, split into two. We're going to talk about balance, and then we're going to talk about the wheel of life, bi'idhnillahi ta'ala. Now, as you know, that balance needs someone to be in the middle, someone to be balancing between both sides, to be in the middle so that they can be on the safe side. And we noticed that the Quran has mentioned in so many times being in the middle and the significance of being in the middle. And I would like to share with you some of the verses of the Quran where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is emphasizing on the importance of being in the middle or being moderate. And in particular, for the young people today who are wanting to get into the religion in depth, they sometimes go to the far extreme, and they forget that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants us to be moderate in everything that we do, even when it comes to the religion. And I personally remember when I wanted to, know more about my religion and become more obedient to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, I was a little bit aggressive. And I remember my father had a conversation with me and he said, my son, there are two things that I want to teach you today. The first thing is that you are on the straight path, and you're seeking to continue on the straight path, but you took it step by step until you reached to this conviction. So do not force other people immediately to change while you have gradually improved and changed in the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And the second thing that he told me is that do not try and make people a carbon copy of you, because your relationship with Allah is different than someone else's relationship with Allah. Maybe you are, strong in one area of the faith, like worship, for example, or fasting. It doesn't mean that everybody else is capable to be also strong in that particular area. So every one of us has a unique relationship with Allah. Um, Here also, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talks about, safeguarding our prayers, and these are the most important thing in life. The pillars of our life is the prayers, and in particular, the middle prayer, which is the Asr prayer. And if we look at in today's world, the most productive time is the Asr prayer, where it is in the middle. It is not very early morning because a lot of people are not very comfortable early in the morning. They're in a bad mood. They are not still very awake, while others are very, very productive in early morning. And then you have other people who, are not very productive late at night because they sleep early, while others are very productive and they start their life, after 10 p.m. But the middle point is Al-Asr time, which is a common time to everybody, and it is a very balanced time to be productive, to do things, and to so maintaining this particular middle prayer helps you in developing all your skills in a very productive time, which is the time of Al-Asr. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has mentioned the time of Al-Asr also in an oath in Surah Al-Asr when he said, Wal-Asr, inna al-insana lafi khusr. So every single statement that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala makes, it has significance, it has importance. We have to think about it. Why did he choose this particular time that is in the middle? What does it mean? Is it a balance between the morning times and the night times? And if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in specifically has mentioned this particular prayer at this time, what should we learn from it? And this is for everyone to search and understand. This is yet another area where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has mentioned when an expiation for fasting is to feed 10 poor, or a general expiation is to feed 10 poor people from um, from the when I read the explanation for this verse, there are so many explanations from the scholars. Some of them say that it is not from the best of what you eat, and it is not from the worst of what you eat. It is in the middle, moderate. And some scholars talk about justice. Something that is in the middle is something that you feel it is just to give the poor. So there are so many explanations to this, but it also brings us to the middle point where you should have a balance. And this brings us to even giving out charity, where people give out new clothes, or people give out something that is tarnished and bad and ruined and so on. Um, it's always good to have a balance between the two, but not to go to any far extreme in what you do. And this is also yet another statement from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala when he talks about the middle person, where he gives advice to the other parties. And also in the explanation of this verse, it doesn't only talk about the physical location of the person that he is being in the middle, but it talks about how just he is, how moderate he is, how content he is, how patient he is, how knowledgeable he is. He is in the middle between everybody in terms of this value. So فوسطنا به جمعا, it is in Surah Al-Adiyat, it talks about the battlefield, and in the beginning of the verse it talks about the horses that are marching towards the battlefield of the enemy. And this particular verse talks about these army, the Muslims army, when they are in the middle of the battlefield. Because as you know, in the battlefield, it's either in the beginning where you are about to clash with an enemy, or you are at the end of the battlefield. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in particular, He is talking about the middle. And the middle is the area where believers show their strength and their loyalty to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because you are in the middle of the chaos, you're in the middle of the trial, in the middle of the problems, you're in the middle of testing your faith, whether you will run away, whether you'll give up, whether you'll surrender, or whether will you continue. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala never mentions these aspects of our life just like that, but he mentions them in a particular way because we need to benefit and find the wisdom out of these mentioning. This is a classical verse of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala which talks about balance. وَلَا تَجْعَلْ يَدَكَ مَغْلُولَةً إِلَى عُنُقِكَ وَلَا تَبْسُطْهَا كُلَّ الْبَسْطِ فَتَقْعُدَ مَلُومًا مَحْسُورًا. And do not make your hand chained to your neck or extend it completely and thereby become blamed and insolvent. It means when it comes to giving out, do not give out everything until where you don't have anything left for yourself, at home to feed your family, and also do not hold your hand next to your throat where you don't give out charity, you don't help others, you are stingy, and so on. So always managing this balance is very, very important. And of course, there are so many interpretations of this verse. The intent today is not uh, to talk in details about these verses and what they mean, but I'm just elaborating that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has mentioned these the concept of balance in many places. This particular verse intrigued me in a very nice way because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is talking about those who pray during the night and so on, and he's talking in a balanced way that these believers, when they call up to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala while they're praying at the night, they are in fear and they are also in hope for the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And this is how a Muslim should be balanced in his approach, in his relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You should not fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that you are desperate and you're not willing to do anything, and you feel that there is no running from the torment of hellfire, and Allah will never be mercy on you, because we all make mistakes and we all go back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But at the same time, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants you, uh, uh, besides being fearing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, also to have hope that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will guide you, will support you, will have mercy on you, will grant you paradise, and so on. So you always have to have this balance. Don't be someone who is ignorant, doesn't fear Allah at all, and he does all sorts of sin. And also don't be someone who is over in his hope, where he feels that, okay, Allah will definitely put me in heaven, so I don't need to worry because he is a merciful God, and so on. So always the middle point is the right approach for a believer. Now, I want to present to you something that will benefit all of you, inshallah, and it has benefited me. And I don't say that I am an expert in this area, but I say that I have something that I want to share with all of you. This picture represents the wheel of life, the wheel of life of everybody. Each part of this wheel represents one segment of your life. And these segments sometimes they are standard for everybody in terms of importance and priorities, and in other people they change, they differ. Like if you look at the Western world, maybe they don't have the same values that we have. Maybe their wheel of life is so much different than ours. But I am talking in a Muslim perspective, and I think the elements that I will mention today are the elements that fit in the wheel of life. Now, just imagine if this wheel is unbalanced, you will have a zigzag shape, and this wheel will not be able to move smoothly, to move forward, and so on. So, uh, we need to have a balanced wheel. I'm not claiming here that it is easy to have a full balanced wheel, but we should strive to try. And the way to succeed in this is to know what this wheel represents. Sometimes you find someone very good at his work and career, for example, uh, but his wheel is not balanced, because for him to be successful in his career, he needs to spend long hours in the office. He needs to neglect the time with his family and friends. He has no social life. He is not taking care of his food, of his health. He's overweight, and so on. So, yes, he had succeeded in one area, which is the career, and he got an income out of it. But what about the other areas, which makes the wheel crippled and it will not move forward in the long run? So this particular wheel has 10 elements. So I'm going to share with you each and every element of this wheel. The first and most important part of this element is spirituality. And you need to ask yourself, what is spirituality that you're talking about? Because today, I understand that a lot of people are doing meditation, they're doing yoga, they're doing all sorts of things, and they think that this is part of spirituality. The only spirituality is with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and nothing else. So do not fool yourself as Muslims and associate other things or practices that it is being spirituality. The only spirituality is to Allah. If you're meditating to reach to Allah. If you're contemplating to reach to Allah. If you are, you are sitting in silence in a dark room, you have to think of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and nothing else. So in terms of spirituality, I'm only talking about connecting to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So ask yourself this question. Do you believe in Allah and the hereafter? How is the balance in your belief in Allah and in the hereafter? When it comes to your faith that you claim to have, what is the balance between your faith and your actions, your deed? Is there a balance? Is there, a measure that you can see your faith and your balance? And the balance between your fear and your hope. That is what we spoke about. And the balance between loving this world and investing in the hereafter. All of these things you have to balance, and you have to, because there is no point being like a monk isolating yourself only in a mosque and worshiping because you want the hereafter. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is asking us also to strive in this world, to work and earn a living and have family and make a relationship and build the nation. He's not only asking you to work for the hereafter, to work for this world and the hereafter, but you have to have a balance. Others, they are attached to this world and they forget about the hereafter. So all that they care about is this world, and they don't care about the hereafter. So you as a Muslim, you have to have this balance. And also, when it comes to spirituality, you need also not to gamble with your life. So don't be among those who claim that they will only be in hellfire for a temporary base, and then they'll move on to heaven. Why should you gamble with your life? Do you think even 1 second in hellfire is bearable? It's not bearable at all. So why do you want to put yourself in that position? Why are you gambling with your life? You have to be very intelligent in your choices, in your decision, in your thought, and not think like the devil thinks. He's deceiving you into doing things that will ruin the relationship with your Lord Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Ask yourself, what is the improvement in your relationship to Allah? Are you the same person like last year? What did you develop? What are the new things that you are building so that you come closer to Allah? Or are you deteriorating and going down towards your relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? So this is the first element, which is spirituality. The second thing is family ties. Now, when it comes to family, and I mean your close family, and I mean your extended family, the first question you should ask yourself, do you have a family? And the reason why I'm asking you this, because a lot of uh, people, especially who are from other faiths, they tend now not to give families an importance. They're talking about living alone, enjoying yourself, having your own apartment, having a cat or a dog, and you don't need to see your family maybe once a year, once in 10 years. It doesn't make a difference. But in Islam, family comes first. The family ties, how you care about your family, you love them, you cater for their needs, you are close to them, you're always, with them in the good moments and bad moments. Uh, And do you extend your relationship to your other family members, even those who don't like you, even those who boycott you, even those who don't want to see you? What are you doing in that relationship to fix that relationship? Are they part of your success journey to Jannah, or are you intending to go to Jannah alone? Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is asking us to ask our families to pray, and we should be patient in this journey. So we are responsible to go to Jannah, and we are also responsible to take our families with us. And even when in the worldly sense, where you want to be successful in your career and this in business, your family needs to be part of the plan. What is the point if you are a successful person and your family is not? If your family is not enjoined in this success. So don't be a selfish Muslim. Don't be someone who only cares about himself and only wants to be saved in the hereafter and go to heaven and forget about everybody else. One of the most important things about family is don't fix others while your family is lost. So charity starts at home. Before preaching other people, before fixing the relationship of other people, start with your house, start with your kids, start with your relatives, with your parents, and so on. And when you succeed in your close extended family, then it becomes an obligation on you to move on to the outer world, bi'idhnillahi ta'ala. Number three is the physical well-being. And when I mean the physical well-being, I mean everything that has to do with the trust that Allah has given you, this body. This body is a vehicle, is a temporary thing. So you need to take care of it. You need to give it back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala the same way He has entrusted you with this body. You should give it back in the same way by taking care of it. So there are so many ways to take care of it, and this has to do with all organs of your body. So exercise is an important thing, and I understand that a lot of people are busy, including myself, and we might not have uh, time to exercise. But even within your house, simple movement going up and down the stairs, getting your own stuff from the kitchen, cleaning your car. These are all sorts of exercise. Just remember, my dear brothers and sisters, that 2,000, 3,000 years ago, human beings did not have gym. They didn't have treadmills. They didn't have sports club. They only had everything that they in the nature. So they walked, they worked in the farm, they hunted, and this was their exercise. So whatever activity you do in the house, whether you clean the air conditions, you clean the garden, you clean your car, play with your kids. Even playing with your kids is a form of exercise. Be someone who is active. Don't be someone who is lazy, who sleeps all day, who does nothing. Be very active. Eat clean food. And when I mean clean food, food that will benefit your body. And don't only shove, junk food into your body. And I don't mean that you should be someone who is perfect. When you crave something, don't eat, whether it is a pizza or a burger or anything. But what I'm saying, at least 6 days a week, eat clean food, and in the weekend, go out with your kids and enjoy yourself. This is the balance that we're talking about. Sleep well. So the people who stay late until midnight, until 2, until 3, then they are unable to get up for prayers and so on. So having a healthy time to sleep, to give your body time to recover, is very, very important. And it helps you work, it helps you worship, it helps you grow, it helps you become healthy, it cures diseases. So all of these things are so important for you to note. Decide, where do you see yourself in the future? Sorry, this is a different point. regular medical checkups. This is important, and I will share with you an incident that happened to my colleague at work. She was very, very healthy. She took care of herself so much, but she was not in the habit of going for regular medical checkups. So her husband was sick, and they went to Thailand for his treatment. And when she was in the hospital, one of the doctors said, "While you're here, how about we do a full medical examination for you?" And she agreed, and they did the full medical examination, and she turned up to have stage 3 of cancer, and they told her that she will not survive, and she only lived for 3 months and she passed away. So I'm not saying that you can stop death. I am not saying that you can, do anything about death, but I'm saying that it is your responsibility to take care of your body and have medical checkups, because this is an indication. It will show you if you are in a danger zone or not. The next thing that I want to share with you is red flags. Red flags is the signs that your body is showing you to tell you that something is wrong. And I personally do this uh, to find out these red flags. So if you have black eyes, black marks around your eyes, it's a red flag. If you have black marks on your neck, it's a sign of obesity. If you stand straight and you can't see your feet, it's a red flag. If your chest size, your chest width is smaller than your waist, then it's a red flag. If you have problems in your knees and back, that's a red flag. If you can't sleep comfortably, it means if you sleep 9 hours, 10 hours, if you get up, you feel that you haven't slept, then it's a red flag. If you are able to hold a chunk of your belly full with 2 fingers, then it's a red flag. And also, some people go to the masseuse, they have foot massage. You will see someone sitting next to you, uh, massage is being done to his feet, and he's asleep. And when the masseuse touches your feet, you scream in pain. When someone touches your feet and you scream in pain, that's a red flag that something is wrong with your body. Avoid bad habits. There are so many bad habits, like biting your nails, like snacking in the middle of the night, like so many bad habits. You are more informed about bad habits more than me. You need to be very careful about internal fat. Some people, you find them very slim, but they have cholesterol. They have fat on their liver. So the medical checkup will help you identify these medical problems, even if you are slim. Being slim doesn't mean you're healthy. You have to take this into consideration. Without a healthy body, it would be difficult to do what you are meant to do, which is worshiping Allah, building this nation, striving, seeking a living. So make sure you take care of your body so that you can do other things in life. If you don't take care of your body, you're sick, you're on the bed, you will not be able to do anything and be productive. And number 4, out of the wheel of life, is careers and source of income. And this is also very important. The first question to ask yourself is your income lawful or not? Uh, because a lot of people are very successful, they make a lot of money, but maybe they're selling drugs, maybe they're selling alcohol, maybe they work, in a financial institution, they're dealing with usury or riba. Maybe they are cheating other people. Uh, so ask yourself, is your income lawful or not? Sometimes you might work in a job, it is lawful, there's nothing wrong with it, but you don't show up for work, or you go to work and read newspaper. So you earn a living that is lawful, but your actions made that lawful income unlawful. So this is very, very important. Uh, you have to balance between your needs before your wants, because there are certain things that are necessity, like food, like paying the bills, paying the rent, your medical, and so on. And there's things that you want. You want a Gucci bag, you want a BMW, you want to travel for a holiday. These are things that you want. If you don't get them, you're not going to die. But the needs are necessary for you to survive. So you need to be balanced between these two things. Decide, where do you see yourself in the future? So many people, when you ask them, where do you see yourself in 5 years or 10 years? They don't know. So if you don't know where you see yourself, how will you reach there? How will you gradually move on in your career? You find them 20 years, they haven't been promoted and they don't know why. Because if you don't know where you want to go, why would other people bother to promote you and help you to reach to your goal if you don't have a goal? Saving and prioritizing your expenditure. Saving is important, but saving, it doesn't mean less expenditure, but it means whatever extra that you have, put it aside for a rainy day. And the pandemic that has come has taught us that a rainy day can come anytime. A lot of people lost their jobs. A lot of people lost a big part of their income. A lot of people, they don't have homes. So that saving is your backup plan for the rainy day. The other thing you need to do is find an alternative source of income. A lot of people are depending on only one source of income. So if something happens to that source of income, then what happens? What is plan B? And you would realize that every one of us has a set of skills, and these skills will help you earn something, earn a living. Yeah. So you need to find out first, what skills do I have? And can I make money out of these skills? There is nothing wrong with a Muslim trying to earn a lawful income. Any money that you make, it will help you. Next is paying out zakah. If you don't have extra source of income, if you don't have savings, if you don't have an alternative source of income, how will you pay zakah? And it is a pillar in Islam. So all the Muslims around you will be paying zakah, and you will be just staring at them watching because you don't have an extra income to pay them. Aim to helping someone else. So don't always think about yourself. Don't always think about your career. Don't always think about only your income. Think about, how can I make someone else's life easier? How can I help other people contribute in the ummah? What have you done with the wealth that you have gathered? What have you done to the ummah? Have you tried to support mosques? Have you tried to support Quran schools? Have you dug well for people to drink fresh water? Have you, contributed clothes or bought clothes or studying material for people who are less privileged? Ask yourself these questions. The next one, number 5, is relationship. And um, uh, ask yourself this self, are you approachable? Is it easy for people to come and talk to you? Or people, when they see you, say, no, no, I don't want to talk to him. I don't want to open up to him. He's a very difficult person to deal with. So only you can answer this question. Do people love you and care about you? Normally, when you're on leave for 1 month or 2 weeks or 3 weeks, do your friends call you? They say, we miss you. When you travel, do your family members call you and say they miss you? You know, if you suddenly disappear, do people ask about you? Oh, mashallah, where's Hatim? He disappeared. So you need to find out, do people care about you? Do they love you? Or you're a very difficult person, and maybe you're not likable. People don't like you. And if people don't like you, I can't help you. Are you always expanding your relationship? Are you getting to know new people? Are you, greeting new people? My kids, whenever we go to the mall, they tell me, Baba, for sure you're gonna say hello to so many people in the mall. I say yes. It is part of the duty of a Muslim to extend greetings to others, people who you know, people who you don't know. You get to know new faces. This is being a Muslim. Being a Muslim is not about being isolated and being alone and not having a relationship with people. And the most important thing, you shouldn't get to know people just because you want something from them or you might need something from them in the future. No, just get to know people for the sake of knowing people, for the sake of blessings, for the sake of loving people. There's nothing more important than loving other human beings. Number six is intellect and knowledge. And this is a very important area for a Muslim. A Muslim is required to seek knowledge from cradle to grave. And it is an obligation on a Muslim to seek knowledge. And most of the problems that we see in the world today is because of ignorance. People do not read, people do not watch lectures, people do not develop themselves in a particular area. And I'm not only talking about Islamic studies, I'm talking about everything. I give an example. Recently, there has been, a lot of controversial issue in the society, such as feminism and atheism. And you find a lot of young people and even people who are supposedly uh, educated, they are confused on how to respond to those movements like atheism and feminism. And these are things that are basic. The more you read about it, the more you understand. You find the history of these people, how they think, what are their claims, and so on. You as a Muslim, you'll be able to respond to anyone. So don't always be in the dark and wait for the scholars and the knowledgeable people to respond to these people. And I've said this previously, we shouldn't waste the time of scholars with petty things. We should take things into our hands as well, be responsible, play a big part. So ask yourself, how many books do you read? How many workshops do you attend? How many intellectual TV programs do you watch? How much money do you spend investing in yourself to educate yourself, to develop yourself? And ask yourself another question. Whom do you hang around with? Who are your friends? People who gossip, people who talk about the nonsense, people who complain all the time, or people who are intellectual, people who teach you new things, people who, when you sit with them, you find as if you have attended, a university semester. So ask yourself these questions. And then one of the important things is to gauge yourself every year. Okay, this year, what is my plan? How should I develop myself? What is the next level that I want to move on to? Number seven is skills. And every one of us, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us natural skills. Some people are talkative. Some people are good at reading. Some people are patient. Some people are good with their hands. Some people are good with math. Some people are good with technology. Every one of us has a set of skills, but there are also set of skills that you can acquire. Okay, so don't be content with what Allah gave you, only the skills that you are born with. Go and find out what other skills can I get? How can I develop myself always? And always prioritize yourself. Let me give you an example. You are in the da'wah field, okay, and you realize that uh, the majority of the people who are coming, who interact with you, who debate with you, are from the atheist. Yeah. Now, you don't have a skill to debate or to respond to the claims of the atheist, but you've always been admiring the original biblical language, the Aramaic, yeah? So, should you go and learn the biblical language, or is it a priority for you now to go and learn about atheism and how to respond to them? So this is the balance. Something that you love and something that you need. So always find out what you need and start with that. Learn that skill because you will need it, it will help you, and you will benefit out of it. If I learn today the biblical language, the original biblical language, even the majority of the Christians themselves, they don't know that language. What will I benefit out of it? How can I benefit others from that language? Yeah, so you need to have a balanced approach when it comes to your skills, and don't keep a limit for yourself that, oh, I cannot learn this, this is very difficult, or someone else can do but I can't do it. No, this is the devil deceiving you. You can learn anything that you want as long as you have the determination and you pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to help you, then you will learn. But if you have the mindset that, no, this is not for me, I cannot do this, then you will never do it. Number 8, because we're running out of time, is make yourself a better person. This is something which is a priority. The first thing that you need to do is accountability for your actions. If you always have a check on yourself to be accountable for your actions, then you will always develop. But if you don't have accountability for your actions, you will just continue in what you're doing. Get rid of bad habits, any bad habits that are sinful, that are harming you, that are not making you a better person, get rid of them. Compete in goodness. There are a lot of people who are doing a lot of good things. Why should you be left behind? Why should you be at the back of the line? You should compete with them because in the world, you compete in everything, in the business, in your career, and this, so that you can get more money. You compete in your social media page to get more followers. But what about competing in goodness? Yeah, a lot of people are doing so many good things. What are you doing? Where's your position in that? This is the Olympics of the Muslims. What is your position? Did you get the gold medal in goodness? Or you didn't even join the Olympics? So you need to understand. Extra mile. Always do something that you don't have to do. Anything that is good for humanity, for the Muslims, or the community, something that is not expected for you from you to do it. Even if it is very, very small, even if it's not your duty, just do it because that takes you the extra mile. And you never know. You might have the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala because of this very little thing that you're doing. Leaving and living a legacy. All of us do not think always about leaving a legacy. One day we're going to depart from this world. Are people going to pray for us and remember the good deeds that we did, or they will just bury us in the sand and forget about us? I give you an example. Sheikh Khalfan al-Aysari, maybe 4 years, 5 years now, he's passed away. Still until today, this morning I saw a video of him. Just imagine, this morning I saw a video of him. Every time people praise him, every time I listen to the radio, I hear his name. Every time people speak highly about him, people wrote books about him. Don't you want to be like that? Don't you want to leave a legacy? Don't you want to leave a fingerprint in this world? I'm not talking about fame. I'm talking about you as a person doing something for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will love you. And then when Allah loves you, He will command the angels to love you. And then the angels will ask humanity to love you. Don't you want to be in that status? Do not accept Al-Firdaus Al-A'la. Some people say, the most important thing is just to enter Jannah. Anywhere in the Jannah, even in the corner. Why do you have this mentality? Why do you accept if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created for you Jannat al-Firdaus, you want to go next to the door of the Jannah? Why? I don't understand this mentality. And finally, when it comes to making yourself a better person, is compare yourself with the companions. Don't compare yourself with your friends. Don't compare yourself with your neighbors. Don't compare yourself with your brothers. Don't compare yourself with your colleagues. Compare yourself with the companions. What did Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu do? What did Umar do? Why can't I be better than them? They're human, they have organs, they have blood, they sleep, they get tired, they get angry. They're human, made out of clay, like me and you. Why are they better than us? So always compare yourself with the best. And number 9, we have another 10 minutes, is social responsibility. Uh, this is very, very important. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions in the Quran in so many places, الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَعَمِلُوا الصَّالِحَاتِ, those who believe and do good deeds. The first part, those who believe in Allah and believe in the hereafter. And the second part, which is doing good deeds, it doesn't mean the deeds that have to do with you, like praying, fasting, and this. This is something personal between you and Allah. When you pray and fast and hajj, you become a better person. This is between you and Allah. But doing good deeds is serving other people, whether they're Muslims, they're not Muslims, they're in need, they're not in need. What is the service that you are providing for other people? Life is all about other people. It's not about you. Even when we pray collectively. It means we pray in congregation together. Even when we recite the Fatiha, we say, Ihdina Sirat al-Mustaqim. Guide us, not guide me, guide us. Yeah. So even in our supplications, we ask for everybody. So it is not about you. Uh, what have you done for humanity? This is a question posed to you. What have you done for humanity? You are 30 years old, you're 40 years old, you're 50 years old. What have you done for humanity? What is your contribution for humanity? If you don't have, then it's never too late to start and do something. What have you done for your country? Your country has nurtured you, has provided food for you, has provided education, medical, security, everything. What have you done for your country? I hear a lot of claims from people in social media, oh, the government didn't do this, the government didn't do this, the government didn't do this. The government might not be perfect, okay, but for sure, from my understanding, in the past 50 years, we were living under trees, not having electricity, no schools, no medical, nothing, and now we have everything. So they have done a lot for us. What have you done for them in return? If you don't have an answer for that, then I don't know what to say. Relief work in disaster. There are so many people who go through calamities, disasters, earthquakes, floods, cyclones, you name it. What have you done? And so many times people think that, okay, I'll just pay money. I understand paying money is good, and I'm not discouraging people from doing that, but it makes a lot of difference when you go out in the field. Trust me, you have to try it. Volunteer. Go to Africa in the summer instead of going to the Maldives. Go to the villages of Africa, help them build a school, teach children Arabic or English, teach them Quran, go and do relief work. You will find contentment, satisfaction for the things that you do. We find a lot of sisters, mashallah, before the season of Ramadan, they gather in the warehouse, they collect food, rice, and they put them in boxes, they collect clean clothes, they pack them, they send them to Africa, they collect Qur'ans, they send them to Africa. This is satisfaction in life. But if you're just sitting at home with your application, oh, I would like to donate 5 riyals. I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but I'm saying it makes a huge difference for someone who is in need, that you are standing in front of them, tapping on their shoulder, saying, I'm here for you. It makes a huge difference. And uh, help young people to get married. This is important. People who, instead of you thinking to get second wife or third wife, help young people to get married. That money gives someone as a dowry so that he can go and get married. Reconcile between disputes. A lot of couples are in dispute, they argue, and this, instead of you adding fuel on fire, be the mediator, Be the one to help people, even your family members, relatives who argue, dispute, they don't talk to one another 1 year, 2 year. Play a role in mediating and bringing people together. And finally, is zakah of knowledge. A lot of people might have knowledge, might have understanding in a certain area, and they keep it to themselves. If you keep knowledge to yourself, there's no point. I'm telling you, okay, because you're only benefiting yourself. But if Allah has given you knowledge, give it to other people. Let other people continue rolling the ball, because today you're here, tomorrow you're not here, but that knowledge will stay. That person will transfer that knowledge to someone else, and so on and so on, and you will all get the reward. And finally, number 10 is da'wah. And I put it number 10, not that it is the least of what has been mentioned earlier, but everything I mentioned earlier is da'wah. But the last one, number 10, is the actual da'wah work. You know, everything in the life of a Muslim is da'wah. But this particular item is calling people to the faith. A lot of people are very shy to talk to other faith, people of other faiths about Islam. Why are you shy? When you go to their country, they preach you. Why are you shy to tell them about Islam? Why are you shy to say that you're a Muslim? You know, you change your name, you change your identity because you're embarrassed that you're a Muslim. Why? Okay. And also, you have to play a role in reminding Muslims who are lost. There are a lot of Muslims who go astray, who do not pray, who don't believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's your job to bring them back. Okay, contribute to those who are working in the field of da'wah. Let's say you don't have the capabilities to do da'wah. Contribute to those who are doing the field of da'wah, because they sacrifice their time, they sacrifice their families, they put a lot of efforts, they need to print books and materials. If you can't do the job of da'wah, support those who are doing the job of da'wah. Find out about your area of specialty that you can do da'wah. What I'm trying to say is not everybody will be able to preach. Not everybody has the capability, to interact with non-Muslims one on one. And I'm not saying that is impossible. They can learn. We couldn't do it in the beginning, and we learned, and now we're able to do it, and you can do as well. But if you are specifically good in one area, focus on that area. I know a brother who cannot interact with non-Muslims, but he's very good at doing da'wah videos. So you stick to that. That is your area. That is your specialty. And then teach others. Teach others. Teach others. Teaching is a continuous cycle. Every time you teach a person, we all develop, we all learn, and it becomes beneficial. So teach, 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 and travel, because traveling will give you golden opportunities to spread this religion and people to be intrigued by you, by your culture, by your religion, and ask you about Islam. So always travel. And finally, is be an ambassador of Islam. We are all labeled as ambassadors of Islam, whether we like it or not. When you have a Muslim name, when people know you're from a particular race, they associate you with Islam. Sometimes you don't even pray. Maybe you're an atheist, but because you're called Muhammad, Salim, Abdullah, then you're a Muslim. If you're coming from the Middle East, then you're a Muslim. So this label is stuck to you. So do something about it. Be a best ambassador of Islam. And with this, I think I'm on time. Jazakumullah khair. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك نشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت نستغفرك ونتوب إليك. Thank you very much for listening. Jazakumullah khair. And I hope I did not bombard you with
Sheikh, can you unmute yourself if you don't mind?
Now, can you hear me?
Yes.
Don't tell me I was mute all this time.
No.
Alhamdulillah, I was about to have a heart attack.
No, I'm trying to unmute others so that if they have any question,
Okay.
because I mute them in the beginning so that they should not disturb you.
I am 100% sure nobody has a question. صح؟
I don't know. I'm trying.
لا تورطونا.
السلام عليكم شيخ.
وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته.
Thank you very much for your contribution. The talk is very interesting, and these things we need to implement in our life.
بإذن الله.
Is it possible for you to share the recording?
The recording, the administrators, they have recorded. I don't have a copy of it, but I don't know who's.
How do I get the copy?
أخت أم كلثوم.
إن شاء الله بعد ما يعدلوه دكتور يوسف بعد ما يعدل الفيديو if they're going to make it a nice one and then they will send a link. Normally we send it, but I don't know.
I never see the link and always attend the Friday talk, but I never see the link later.
Can we have your number? Can you put your number in the chat? Then we'll send it to you.
I'm driving now. Maybe I'll give you the number 99.
No, just write it if you don't mind.
And I will write it.
I'm driving.
Okay, tell me the number. 99
35
35 35
25
25 again 25. No, it's a long number.
99 no
wait
99 35
yes
25
25
03.
That's a different number you gave me now.
No,
okay,
no.
Your name?
55.
No, not 55. Now is 99 9
أيوة
3 5
أيوة
2 5
أيوة
0 3
0 3. Okay, I got it. What's your name?
99 35 25 03.
What's your name, sir?
سالم المحروقي.
سالم لحظة, I'll write it down here so that the admin can have سالم المحروقي. شكرا جزيلا. إن شاء الله your number is saved here.
أحسنت جزاك الله خير. الله يزيدك خير وبركة في ميزان حسناتك.
آمين.
وإن شاء الله we need to give this video for the kids to listen if they can prepare their life to be better than what they live now.
إن شاء الله.
أحسنت وجزاك الله خيرا.
أحسنت جزاك الله خير.
Hatim, I just have a comment.
Yes.
So with regards to leaving a legacy and having a footprint, you said, or humanity have contribution to humanity. Isn't that somehow the same thing, or is it different in terms of your personal interest and helping others? Because I don't know, I found it to be somehow similar. I couldn't distinguish between the two.
Contribution for humanity is general. Every time you see that humanity is in need, you do something about it. But leaving a legacy, most of the people associate that you have to do something very big. But actually, you have to do something very small that is between you and Allah in secrecy, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will develop that and make it grow and it become a legacy. And I give you a classical example. There is an Omani young man. He is in his 20s. He used to work for the Air Force, and he was based in, I think, Thamret or Masira, one of the base. He was a normal young man, like Shabab. So one day, his colleague in the base, they went to wake him up for Salat al-Fajr, and he didn't wake up. He died while he was asleep. So they brought him back to his hometown and they buried him. His family was, of course, very sad. 1 week, 2 weeks, they forgot about him. Like we all forget about our deceased. So after 2 weeks, someone came to their family house and he knocked the door, and his mother came out, and there was an Indian man standing at the door. And she said, "How can I help you?" And he said, "Can I talk to Salim?" And the mother was shocked, said, "Salim? Why do you want Salim? Salim is dead." And he said, "Well, there is a bill he has to settle." And the mother said, "What bill? What are you talking about? Salim was always in the military base. What bill are you talking about?" And the Indian man explained. He said, 5 years ago, Salim was in the shop, and a boy who had mental problems, a young boy, maybe he had autism or something. He came into the shop and he was taking sweet, and the shopkeeper said to him, stop it, don't take these sweets, you can't pay for it." And Salim immediately interfered and said, no, let him take. Whenever this boy comes to take things in the shop, at the end of the month, give me the bill. How much is the bill, and I will settle it. And he's been doing this for the past 5 years. And what is the bill? 2 riyal, 1 riyal, 5 riyals maximum. And he's been doing that for 5 years in secrecy. Nobody knows. When this story was exposed, it was published in the national newspaper. This story happened in almost the 80s, I think, or the early 90s. And subhanallah, a lot of people might not have known Salim or met him, but after that story was published, he was a national hero. And everybody loved this young man. And everybody wanted to know more about him. And everybody started praying for him. And everybody started calling their children by his name. And I heard the story from his first cousin, maybe 5 years ago. And after 25 or 30 years, I heard the story. And I love this man, and I really honestly wish, if I go to Jannah, to meet him in person. I never met him, I never saw him. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala put this legacy of this man in our heart, although we haven't met him. So this is what I mean. There are a lot of maybe mashayikh or scholars have passed away in the past. Do we remember them? But why do we remember Sheikh Khalfan? What is so special about Sheikh Khalfan? Why do we still remember him? Why do we still see his videos? Why do we still remember his words? Why do we still feel that he's alive with us? We have to ask ourselves this question. What makes him special? So leaving a legacy doesn't mean you have to do something big, something that everybody has to see. It has to be genuine between you and Allah, faqat. And leave Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala do the rest. Is that clear, sister?
Akid. Thank you very much.
Jazakallah khair. Okay, I think nobody else has a question. So, Jazakumullah khair, all of you, for listening.
There is a question, I think, for chatting. If you
There is a question in the chat. I agree that they are very important lesson. Okay, this we have already tackled. Can leaving a legacy be within a family only, or it has to be broader? No, it can be in any form or shape. Even if you are feeding an ant, that is good enough. That is good enough. And why I specifically mentioned ant, the story between Sayyidina Sulaiman and this ant, isn't a legacy? Isn't it a legacy? Why will Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in this divine book mention the story of this ant and this conversation that happened between Sayyidina Sulaiman and this ant? So it doesn't mean you have to go big. It doesn't mean you have to go abroad. Sometimes it's something that it is within yourself. You know, the sister who passed away several years ago, Maimuna, Maymun al-Kindi. I'm not so sure if you all know her. She passed away. She left a legacy. You know what she did at home? Her father was, disabled, and she used to take him every single prayer to the masjid. Nobody knows. But she put that effort within the family, and she became a legacy. And until today, people are thinking about her and mentioning her and praying for her. So leaving a legacy, again, doesn't have to go big. It doesn't have to be international. It just has to be genuine. Assalamu alaikum, Hatim. What is your number? My number. Okay. Salim al-Mahrouqi. My number is, don't send it to everybody. This is my number, where I can read that ant legacy, brother. The ant legacy is in Surah. I don't remember. I think it's Surah An-Naml. I'm not so sure. I think it's Surah An-Naml.
أيوة صحيح.
Surah An-Naml, صح? Yeah, it's
أيوة.
the story between Sayyidina Sulaiman and the ant is there in Surah An-Naml. Any other questions? Khalas, I think we don't have questions. Jazakumullah khair, everyone, for listening and being present today. I'm honored to be with all of you, and I'm privileged. And don't forget us in your prayers. Jazakumullah khair. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi